A number of you have asked me in different mediums, what's going on with the Firebird? You keep saying we're going to get back to the Firebird project, but I'm not seeing any activity in the Firebird. And you're right, there hasn't really been much. And so for those of you who are asking, there's a few reasons for that. It's the only garage I have. So work on the things that need to be worked on. That is a longer project to get that done, and it's going to take some time, dedicated time to get it. So for me, with a day job, working evenings and weekends, it's a multi-week project, and so I'm going to tie this thing up for multiple weeks. And before I do that, there's a few small projects I want to knock out before we get to it. One of them here is the Chevelle. This time of year, where I am, it's hot, it's humid, it storms a lot, and so we don't get these cars out very much. But we're getting now into fall and winter, which is the perfect time around here for classic car season. Car shows are starting to kick off, cruises, so we want to get this thing kind of ready to go for cruising season. For the most part, it actually runs really, really good. The only issue I'm having with it right now is the steering is really sloppy. So remember a little while ago, a few months ago anyway, we did a video on the sway bars, and that helped a lot. But I noticed it's still a little bit, it's got a rattle to it, and it's still a little bit loose, and I think it's the tie rods. So we're going to replace those today. I actually have a whole front end rebuild kit that I bought to do on this. Bushings, ball joints, steering idler arm, but I don't have anybody that can do an alignment right now, and probably not for a couple of months. Let's just get these tie rods done and see if we can get it back, kind of stiffen it up and get it back on the road. I got it up on ramps today because my hope is that keeping the pressure on the wheels will keep them aligned, and so then I can just take the old ones off, fit the new ones on, and not have to realign it. We'll see. I'll probably get it at least close enough that I can drive it until I can get an alignment shop. They can get me in. I know some of you guys out there may be able to do this without needing alignment. I'm not that guy. So I'm not going to do the control arms and the bushings right now. I also think I want to go with more of a Pro Tour setup, so I want to change directions a little bit and do more of a tubular control arms, maybe some coilovers. So we might just pause on that. So we're going to stick with just a slight upgrade with some Moog tie rod parts, and get this back to normal. We've got a couple other small projects we want to do, and then we can get that fiber back in here, and hopefully we can focus on it. So this is that kit I was talking about. A box of poly bushings, upper and lower ball joints, inner and outer tie rods, and the steering idler. I'm going to focus again my attention just on the tie rods and adjustment sleeves, replace those. I also kind of messed up on the ordering of the bushings. This actually made me start to think about this. In the Chevelle, in 71, I think also in 72, there were two different kinds of bushings. There's an oval and a round. So mine are all the round kind. Well, I should say the ones I bought are all the round kind. However, in the Chevelle, one of the sets of bushings in the control arms is more of an oval shape. And that, I just messed that up when I made the order. I didn't realize there were two separate styles. In fact, on the website, or these from Original Parts Group, they actually say that on the website. Make sure you check. And I missed that too. So it wasn't their fault. It was totally mine. And so it got me thinking about what to do with these. I've had this kit for a while. I bought it back in probably, April. And one of the tie rods was back ordered. And it took a while to get here, probably till around July. And by that time, I was busy with other stuff and I didn't have time to work on it. So I kind of sat on this for a while, and now it's too late to return them. It's beyond the return period. So it's not their fault, and this is not a complaint. I totally messed this up, but I got thinking about what am I going to do with all this stuff now? Do I really want to buy another set of bushings? Well, just that pause made me start to think about how I want to deal with this. And that's when I decided maybe let's go with a Pro Tour setup. So that's why we're just gonna kind of pause on this stuff and the steering. We're just gonna focus on these. I may do the idler arm as well, but I think once I start tearing into that, then I'm worried about getting the steering right. So this is what we're gonna focus on today. Here's the tie rod. Here's the inner. There's the adjustment sleeve and the outer. And you can see this is it's pretty loose. And I think it's banging on that. I think that's the noise I'm hearing from time to time when I'm driving. This is the driver's side. Up here's the ball joints. There's the lower and the upper ball joints. So you can kind of see the upper ball joint there. Let me get you up a little bit. But, you can see they're not awesome, right? But they're not too bad. They seem to be pretty tight. I've had this up in the air and shaking the wheels, and they don't move. So bearings seem good. The ball joints, although kind of a mess, they do still seem to be fairly snug. So I would rather replace them since I'm doing all this, but this just isn't the time. So we're just going to do these for now. So we just got to undo. There's a castle nut up here. You got to pull a pin out, take that nut off, and get those out. And then you've got the nut at this end, and we'll just take this piece out, and then we'll put our other pieces together and try to match up as close as we can, and then get them in and use this adjustment sleeve to fine tune it, and get it just right. It won't be dead on. It's just the nature of it, but we'll try to get as close as we can. This will be a lot easier to do without the tire on, I'll admit. But I think we can get it. There. These don't want to come right out. They take a little bit of persuasion. But once this comes down, you break that loose and this whole arm drops. What I've had happen to me from time to time is there's a, if these are particularly loose, then the nut or the bolt in here, the stud will start to spin inside. So once you move this down and it breaks that swivel loose, the friction on the swivel becomes weaker than the friction on the nut, and so when you turn the nut, it just turns the whole bolt. So before I even move this much, I'm going to take this nut off as well. It should come off. The other one came off actually pretty easily, so it shouldn't be too bad to get out. Smaller. 5/8. There we go. That's loose. So a handy tool is one of these separator forks. This one's specifically for tie rods. These don't want to come out very easily, and you got to kind of force them. They're not that expensive. This was $10 at Harbor Freight, so works fine. You just slide it in here. Give it a few taps to get it in there. Should start to pop that loose. There it goes in. There you go. We'll do the same thing up under here. Hit my fingers with it. That's pretty cool too. This is where having it on a lift would be nice because I can get up underneath. There's just not a lot of, you can see over here, there's not a lot of swing room for the hammer to get up under there. I need this thing to be like that long, but I really don't want to cut it. There it goes. There's not enough clearance for it to come out of there. Are you kidding me? The whole steering arm has to come down while we're at it. The whole drag link has to come off because there's not enough room for that to come out. It's hitting the K-rail there. Hopefully we can do that without messing up our steering alignment again. Damage that pin. I want to save it. I really want that to come out of there without having to pull all that loose. And it really doesn't want to. Oh, wait. Oh, there it went. Ah. And yeah, tie rods are bad. Okay, before I get too far, this pin back in so I don't lose track of it because I always lose track of them. believe these are the same for both sides. There's not a driver or passenger side. Same model number for both of them. Just do one at a time here. This is the outer. And this is the inner. The castle nut and the Zerk fitting for that one. This is the one for this one. Yep. Okay. Trying as close as possible match this one. We don't want to use these ends, the bolt ends as our guide, because they are they're flexible. So I want to use the edge so you can measure them. I've honestly tried to do that. I've not had a great deal of success. So we can clean some of this up here so you can see what we're working with. So what I'm going to do, a little hack that I'm going to try. I've actually never done this. This is not like a pro tip. It might be. We'll see how it works. Is use a big clamp, like a wood clamp, almost like a giant micrometer, a macrometer, a giantometer, and just kind of try to line this up as best I can and get it close. These are rotated, these are threaded in opposite directions. So this one, you see it's a left-hand thread, and then this one's a right-hand thread. And the idea on why is that once they're in place, you just rotate this and it draws them in or pushes them out. So that gets your alignment. Trying to line up the pieces as close as we can. So we're a little short from our clamp here. And kind of honestly, it's hard to tell from your angle, but if you eyeball this, you'd be able to tell actually that this one's shorter than this one still. So we're gonna have to do a little more backing out here. So we're close enough. Another turn there. That I'll put it back on, get it lined up, get in, and then we'll adjust our sleeve. Throw it away. There we go. Gotta remember, it's not lefty loosey, righty tighty. It's something else. All right, so try to transfer this over there, and we'll get as close as we can here. I'll have to go look up torque specs and see what the torque specs are for these. All right, so now we have those ends at least bolted down snug. We'll tighten up our sleeve. So you just get these, you rotate or you torque these with 35 pounds and then plus rotate so that the hole in the bolt and the stud lines up with the castle nut and you can get that cotter pin through, and then just spread the ends out so the cotter pin holds in and the nut doesn't walk its way back off. And same thing with this one up here. 35 pounds at this end as well, and then just a slight extra rotation, extra tightening. No more than 50 pounds it says, but I don't know. I did do these as spec, and the torque wrench is too big and I couldn't get it in here with the camera in here, but I just tighten them until it won't tighten anymore. I always say, how much torque? All of it. You know, get it snug, and then a little farther to get it where the cotter pin goes in. So we'll do the other side now. We'll get that one off, and we'll line up the other pieces and build our tie rod in for that side. I forgot to mention this before. When you put these together, you want to have a pretty equal amount of threads on either side. So I think the specs on them are within 3 threads. So you need to be a little mindful of the fact that this needs to be in the middle. I just kind of do them, like move them in a couple turns each side, start to shrink it up. So we'll use our makeshift guide here. They're often pretty close to the same length on these. That's not always true. No, I had to do the ones on the Jeep as well, and that one side was like this long and the other side was like this long. So they're not symmetrical necessarily. These happen to be, which is nice because that means they're universal. Like there's no left or right version of, there's an inner and an outer, but not a left or right side on these cars, but there often is. So you want to keep that in mind. You don't want to use the same measurement for both. Measure each one of them relative to the one you took off. A little long, looks like. Shrink up this one and shrink up this one kind of equally. So that's about right. So for now, that's good enough. It's not perfect, but it'll be good enough. We'll get it back on the car, and then we'll do a final adjustment on the vehicle. Oh, the other thing I realized looking at these, and I forgot them on the other ones, I didn't put the grease fittings in the other one. Some of you may have noticed that. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me then? Well, I got to go into there and do it now. So they're in here. I just forgot to put them on. So we'll do that on the other one while we're under there. Get this one in here. And then that goes up that way. And you can see we're a little off still. So just rotate our sleeve. Let's get the nut on this one to hold it still. That's going to fall off. It doesn't have to be snug or anything, just keep it from falling on me. There we go. So that's a little fine tuning. I'll get that nut up there. Sorry, I'm in the way. Again, would be a lot easier to do without the wheel on it. Now you gotta tighten up this sleeve so it doesn't change your alignment on you. One thing to watch for with these, I think you can see this. There's a little dimple right here. It keeps these from walking around. You want to make sure your sleeve isn't covering that dimple. You want to be behind it. And this one's on this side of it. I don't have a torque spec on this one. Like this isn't one of those. Just get it pretty much as tight as you can get it. All right, and the last thing you gotta do is grease these. Sometimes these say they come pre-greased. I don't ever trust them. These do not come pre-greased, so I gotta do it anyway, but even if they were to say they did, I probably would still want to grease them. So you just put your little grease gun end on there. This one's a little hard to get to. But make sure it locks on, otherwise you'll just spill grease everywhere. You'll hear it click, and you want to fill this boot. That's the idea. It's hard to see here, I know, but you're gonna fill this boot full of grease. And you can fill that boot full of grease, and then you're done. You'll kind of feel that pressurize, and you're done. All right, I gotta put the grease fittings on the other side, and then grease them up, and we'll be done. All right, we got the other grease fittings on. They're all greased up. We're good to go. The next step would be to take it for a quick test drive and make sure everything's good and tighten up anything that feels loose or comes loose on the drive. Sometimes that happens. Things come a little loose. That castle nut should stick where it is, though, and that shouldn't be an issue. And, of course, if we didn't get it directly lined up, then we'll still need to get an alignment done. Unfortunately, I mentioned at the beginning of this how this is kind of the stormy season. Well, sure enough, like clockwork, a big thunderstorm rolled in while we were doing this, and it's pouring. Thunder, lightning, the whole nine yards. I don't know if you can hear that. It's loud. So we're just gonna stop here, and we'll take it out maybe tomorrow and see how it feels. Tie rods, not a huge deal. They sound kind of scary. I did them the hardest way possible. This is way easier on a like a vehicle lift, or put it up on jack stands and take the wheels off. You got a lot more room to work in there. And if you can get an alignment done, you should. Not suggesting you should do this without getting an alignment done. This is one of those do as I say, not as I do moments. I just don't have anybody around town that can do it for me right now. We'll take it out tomorrow, see how it feels, and I may still end up having to get an alignment. We'll see. I hope not. Thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.